The reported transfer of 19 North Korean BM-25 medium-range ballistic missiles to Iran has added yet another layer to the ongoing discussion in the West about Tehran's military and possibly nuclear intentions. But analysts differ in their assessment of Iran's purpose for this missile, which was derived from an old Russian design. One analyst, Michael Elleman, at the London-based International Institute for Strategic Studies, says this missile made its first public appearance only a short time ago.
A version of what we believe is the BM-25 was paraded in Pyongyang last month, which gave us a bit of information about what this missile might actually look like, but it's never been tested.
Analysts are not in total agreement that the BM-25 exists. Some speculate that North Korea may have paraded a display mock-up rather than a real missile. A publication that has followed Iran's acquisition of the BM-25 is Aviation Week in Space Technology, which is closely read both by the aerospace industry and governments around the world. David Fulgham is the senior military editor for Aviation Week and published an article on the BM-25 on October 14. Fulgham says a Middle East government gave him key information about it.
I first heard about it from the Israelis 6 months ago. And they said that they had been delivered, complete missiles had been delivered to Iran.
Fulgham says the BM-25, which North Korea calls the Mosdan, has a projected range of 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers and is carried on a mobile launcher. Some in the West have claimed that this missile could create yet another threat to countries in Europe as well as the Middle East. But Fulgham says he suspects that Iran wants to use the BM-25 for research and development rather than put it into active service.
I think it's part of a test program. They want to develop a missile that can be a threat, but also that can help them carry bigger payloads further. That's something they needed, a new airframe, and that's what the BM-25 gives them.
While many in the West are sharply focused on the possibility that the BM-25 was brought in to help Iran build offensive weapons, IISS analyst Michael Elleman says he sees Tehran using it instead for its space program. For years, North Korea was seen as providing both hardware and technology to Iran to give it a jumpstart in its military and space programs. But now some analysts say Tehran may be taking the lead in some of this development. Aviation Week's Fulgham explains why the relationship between the two countries may have switched.
Iran has, at this point, has more money, has more freedom to do the development, has more access to the kinds of materials that you would need than North Korea does. North Korea depends a lot on the Chinese. The Chinese are under pressure from us not to export.
David Fulgham, Michael Elleman, and other Iranian missile watchers say that regardless of where the development comes from, the results will be difficult to keep secret. Missiles have to be launched to be tested, and when they are, other nations track them closely to learn how well they perform and what threats they may pose to others. Jeffrey Young, VOA News.